Okay, hello everyone. I'd like to call tonight's meeting to order. Today is Tuesday, January 10th, 2017, I'm sorry. And it looks like we're 7:11 p.m. I would ask everyone stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Sherby, please call the roll.
Trustee Calcagno?
Present.
Trustee Celestino?
Present.
Trustee Perry is absent. Trustee Rita is absent. Trustee Stecker?
Present.
Trustee Yorkman?
Present.
President Julia?
Present. We do have a quorum. Thank you, everyone, for attending. Before we go into our agenda this evening, I'm sure most of us have heard that Jimmy Adams' father-in-law, George Stern, had passed away yesterday. So I'd ask for a moment of silence, at least at this juncture. I know we don't have all the details of the wake, et cetera, but I would ask for a moment of silence. Thank you. Janet, any presentation this evening?
No.
Item number 5, public comments and questions. If any person has any comments or questions of the board, to give as many visitors as possible an opportunity to speak in the interest of adjourning by 9 p.m., please limit your comments to 3 minutes in length unless further time is granted by the board on active or general matters or anything we may be able to answer. Sir, did you have a question or comment? If you Yes? No? Maybe? Yourself? No? Okay. Going once? Twice? 3 times? We'll close public comments. Item number 6, consent agenda. We have the approval of the record of bills ending 1/5/17 in the amount not to exceed $959,961.54. Sherby has asked us to pull all the minutes, Sherb, or for the next meeting. So item B will be pulled and put on our next agenda. Item C, the approval of the monthly reports on community development, PD, FD, Public Works. Item D, an ordinance authorizing the sale or disposal of surplus property owned by the Village of Westchester. The old ESDA car that's crashed back there, the truck 30 that is not functioning, and I believe we have the generator that is not presently hooked up but is surplus in the building. Those are the 3 I think we have. I don't think we have anything else.
There's some switch too.
There is a switch on
There's
there.
a switch system. Can't recall the name.
It's a transfer switch
ATS or something.
Automatic transfer switch.
for that unit, correct? Is that part of the, okay. All right. And item E, a resolution approving and establishing a vehicle replacement policy for the Village of Westchester and adopting guidelines and procedures therefore. These are items that we have talked about at past meetings and committee of the whole. So I'd ask for a motion to second for an approval unless somebody needs something pulled.
So moved. Or second.
Carl and Tom. Without any further discussion on that, if none, Sherby, would you please call the roll?
Trustee Celestino?
Aye.
Trustee Stecker?
Aye.
Trustee Yorkman?
Aye.
Trustee Calcagno?
Aye.
President Julia?
Aye, motion carries. The next item on our active agenda is a resolution authorizing the execution of a mutual release and settlement agreement between American Painting Incorporated and the Village of Westchester to reflect everyone's recollection. We had about 800 and some fire hydrants out there painted by this company. There was an agreement that 475, I believe, are to be repainted at their cost due to what we believe to be a warranty work, so to speak, that they faded and rusted prematurely. So I don't know if we have a dollar amount. Mike, I know there was a number of hydrants. I think we put.
475 hydrants are being repainted. Some of them are being have a primer applied. It all depends on which ones we
We
select.
select. So there's no dollar amount, it's not costing us anything other than whatever litigation for our council that we worked on. So is there a motion and a second to approve that agreement?
So moved.
Tom?
Second.
What was it, Angelo?
Angel.
I know we've discussed this during multiple committee of the whole and actually executive session portions, so there's no need to waive the COW on that.
All right, there's a motion and a second on the floor for its approval. Sherby, please call the roll.
Trustee Stecker?
Aye.
Trustee York?
Aye.
Trustee Calcagno?
Aye.
Trustee Celestino?
Aye.
President Julio?
Aye, motion carries. Item number 8, managers report. Janet, anything to report?
I have just two brief items. I wanted to extend a sincere thanks to Jeannie Helgeson from Jeannie's Hair Company for a generous donation to the Village Public Safety of $200, which we'll put to good use. She makes a donation to us each year at the end of the year, so thanks to Jeannie. And just wanted to let everybody know that Village Administration and Public Works will be closed on Monday in observance of Martin Luther King Jr. Day. As always, public safety will be available 24/7.
Thank you. Michael, any report this evening?
No, I don't have anything for this evening, thank you.
Board members. Nikki, anything today?
Nope.
Nothing? Carl?
Sir, thank you.
Angelo?
Nothing tonight, sir.
Tomas?
Nothing.
Chief?
Just a couple of things, real quick. Effective January 1st, it's been telling you all year that I've been rolling out this new policy, but it was finally finished. January 1st, new policy for the department took place, or went into place. Just a big shout out, thank you to Greg for his expertise. I wrote up all the policies, but he's the one that formulated. Every officer got a copy of it on the CD, as well as on the computer system. And I just want to thank Greg for all his hard work on that, because he really did a great job with it, and it's so user-friendly. So that's taken care of. Lexipol has been notified that we won't be renewing our contract with them, so that's going to save us $3,500 this year. So that's taken place. Other than that, that's it.
Great. Travis, subbing in for Chief Adams. Cap, anything? Nothing. Chris, finance?
Just to let the board know, we've started the budget process. I've started sending the department sheets out to the department heads, and I plan to send an email to the board tomorrow to set up the dates for the special meetings. From what I've been told, they'll start, and they're pretty much every Tuesday for about 6 weeks, including our regular board meetings. And then also we'll send an email regarding the capital plan tomorrow as well, so we can get that. I want to get that done before I actually start working through the end of the budget part of it. So that's about all.
Gregory?
Yes, you saw me partially through the month of December, but upon my return, I began immediately working on adding more debtors to the debt recovery program, taking some of our outstanding numbers that were in parking that had the required time delay before being entered in there. And it took me a few days to do that. It's more or less a lot of spreadsheet fiddling to get them all entered appropriately, so that you're not entering them one by one, you're entering them as a group. So we added 579 more debtors at a value of $62,805. That's not to say we're going to get that money, that's just meaning that it's in the system. And I requested a value of those debtors that are still in our collection system for this coming tax year, as well as throughout the entire year, for that matter. But the total value of $797,845 is posted there. In a lot of cases, just as a matter of record, people don't necessarily get even all of the, I should say, are owed all of the return that they're owed to us. So in many cases, a lot of the people that we've collected from last year are still going to be collected from again this year to recoup the remaining debt that is outstanding. So something to look forward to. I'll be talking with Chris and Jan, of course, during the budget. Just go over that, see where we think the numbers will get to.
Hey, Greg,
Yes.
just a question. Do you know what's going on with that Gladstone camera at all, by chance?
Yeah, we're waiting for Musco to get the electrician.
Oh, okay.
Gary had found out that the electrician that was involved in the project originally.
Right, that big company.
Correct. So he had to locate through Musco a secondary contractor, which I heard he did. Our camera person here on the village side, or at least that was presented from the village, is waiting for them to run the power.
Oh, okay, perfect.
Yep.
Thank you. Greg, is that it, sir? Robert?
Just two items to report to the board, very briefly. We had a roof leak on the post office roof when we had the first thaw. There were 7 leaks. We had 4 over in the fire station and 3 in the post office, 1 pretty severe. Met with a contractor. They had lots of theories about where it was coming from and why, and none of them being their work. So I did call for a warranty inspection by the Geico Corporation. They came out this week and they did find several flaws in the work. We had a 30-foot long crack where it wasn't sealed up properly and it was emitting a fair amount of water. And they found a physical separation where the silicone just split. So we asked the manufacturer to make the repairs. They did those repairs yesterday. It appears as though the water has stopped leaking. So I've also told them I wanted mold abatement, so they will have to go inside the building and spray wherever the water came through the roof. And we want all the ceiling tiles replaced. And in some locations inside the post office, the tiles on the floor are popping up because it's been wetted several times now. And I told them that I feel that's on them too. So we made a warranty claim. They did come out and patch the roof, but now we want the inside of the building and the damage caused by the leaks. This is the second time we've had leaks in this system. So we will continue to hold their feet to the fire anytime leaks pop up.
Robert, that's quite a large opening
Yes.
in the roof. Are they gonna, did they inspect the whole roof? Are they gonna come back maybe when the weather's nicer? You know, after we get a nice thaw and inspect that whole thing? I mean, it's just kinda odd that it's brand new and we get a 30-foot seam open up.
Yep.
I mean, you know, what does that say about the rest of the seams?
Have we made final payment to them yet?
Yes. We have a warranty, and remember, he came in here and guaranteed no leaks, and our attorney got as much of that in writing as possible, and I told him, you stood up here and said no leaks, and I don't know what you gotta do, but you gotta fix it, and I don't wanna see a bill. Every time it leaks, at least for the next year, 100% on you, and then for the next 10 years, if we have, like the manufacturer indicated, this is, some of it's a workmanship issue, and I said, it's all on you for the next 10 years, anything that opens up.
I mean, when they say workmanship issue, did they give any detail to it? Did they not prep the seams right? Did they use a product, you know, under the wrong conditions? You know, that's what
The
I'm getting at. I mean,
Manufacturer said it should not have opened up that long seam like that.
Right.
And the contractor, you know, he's saying, well, we did everything. So, I don't know. And my position is, I don't care. It's not supposed to leak. Fix it. And every time it leaks, I will call you.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, that's a big,
but they have to go through all that every time it leaks. I mean,
Well,
really hope that those seams are-
there's that. More worrisome is the postal employee's response when this occurs again and again. They're not real happy. They've
sure,
had
they
some
just
issues with their staff and filing grievances. It hasn't quite come over to us yet, but they're having some issues over there. And I've told the contractor and the manufacturer, this is on you. This is your warranty. You have to fix this. You have to make it good. We've paid you. I will be insistent every time this happens. So, just wanted to make you aware that these issues are going on.
did they fix the leaks in the fire station too?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
We paid them to fix that roof too. So.
No, I just wanted to make, I know we have the big one over there at the post office, but I want to make sure they took care of everything right away.
Absolutely. Yeah. And in fact, I copied the chief and all the lieutenants. The the report and then the subsequent report from the manufacturer. Pictures of both the faults and the repair made. So,
And I would concur that what I would suggest is that as the winter passes, that you pick a date at this point in time and say, I would like to have somebody from the company and the manufacturer take a look, whether it's May 1st, April 30th, pick a day, but kind of set it up now, that you want an inspection, because if you recall, I mean, the weather cooperated to a certain extent. However, that being said, I would have thought that they would have liked to have put this product on more so in the summertime than in the fall, winter, where we had some interesting weather. So I think a blanket request that to come out and take a look. It can't, hopefully there's no issues that we have to report at that particular time, but the board is concerned that based on the timing it was applied and the leaks that we've fixed at this date, that the board would request an inspection for no charge to take a look at that. And I don't think that's out of the realm of a company that wishes to do business not only in the future with us, but with other similar companies, because, you know, there was a vast savings in going in that direction, and this is a relatively new product on their end, that they would want to do everything they could, A, to make us happy, and to make future customers happy, because you know that we will be a referral. So that would be my suggestion. So any...
well, not much of a referral right now, but,
Right,
but
right.
certainly.
Well, the referral is yes. I mean, anytime you have any work done, whether it's at your house or someplace else, if there's a hiccup, the company comes back and fix it.
But I would like to also see, you know, have them give us an explanation of why a 30-foot seam opened up, why they think it opened up. So that we know going forward, you know, so if we hear a different excuse next time, or that's just a large seam to open up on you, you know.
But I concur with the comments of Angelo, and I think that's probably the direction we should go through.
I'll ask the question and ask for a written response. I can forward you the report as well if you'd like.
That'd be fine.
Sure. Thanks.
Okay, second item, we have an opportunity to help out in the Prairie area, 7 Hickory Lane. We got a call from contractors working for the Cook County Forest Preserve. They have, they're doing a demolition at 7 Hickory. Those are the, I think, lifelong leases, and after the person holding the lease passes, the property turns over to the state and its various entities out there, and they do a controlled demolition of those buildings. So one of the things they have need for is after they pull the building out, they'll have a large hole in the ground, and they ask if we had any kind of backfill they could use. And it just so happens we've had several water main breaks and a lot of clay out here we were just getting ready to haul off. So we made an agreement with them that we would haul over all our native claves that we've dug up in our water main breaks. We got about 20 cubic yards. This is, by the time you add up all of our roll-off costs for waste management to haul this away, this is going to be approximately $2,500 of savings for us in our budget. So we will, and we have started as of today, starting to haul the clay that we store in our yard over to 7 Hickory Lane. So if you see our dump trucks rolling out there, that's what we're doing for the rest of this week anyway. There's a chance that if our triple basin arrives for the garage, that excavation material will end up out there too. So just wanted to make you aware that we had this opportunity and we were going to take it, and they were looking for it, and we're more than happy to take a short haul and not pay waste management to haul it out. So that was the second item.
Good job. Melissa?
Good evening. I just have a couple of things. The Hampton Inn came in and applied for their they made their plan commission application for their public hearing, so they could put the addition on the existing hotel and convert it to the 4 Points by Sheridan. They made that application last week. Also, the Chicago Highlands Golf Course, you know, have already made their application. So we're hoping to have both of those public hearings on at the same time.
Melissa, do you have a date or reference, month, March?
For the public hearings?
Yeah.
Probably in mid-February, I would hope.
Okay, late February, and you're going to try to do both, is that not correct?
Yeah, I'd like to have them both on the same
Okay.
night.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Sorry. Anything else, my dear?
No, that's it.
Ms. Sherby, anything?
I'd just like to say you got me in here to everyone. It's good to see everyone back. And sorry to hear about Dad's father-in-law. But glad to see the rest of you and look forward to a productive year.
Great. Thank you. I'm only going to talk about one item. I don't know if you saw in the news that the House voted 108 to 1 to approve the lead testing for schools and daycares. And I did get an email from Senator Stearns as well that it passed the Senate as well, and it looks like it's going to be signed by the governor, which would put some parameters of mandatory testing for elementary schools and daycare centers. I know I've talked about this as a result of Flint, that our PW water operators have done testing not only at the incoming water of the public schools, but have also tested the faucets as well. It was a volunteer piece at that point in time. So as I read through the legislation, my suggestion is to have our water operators available, and again, I have not seen the total legislation out there, but offer those services to the parochial schools, and I will get a list from public registration or professional regulation, whoever monitors daycare centers, as that is a public information, and any, whether it be a private home or facility, if it falls under the daycare realm, we'll have a listing of that, and I would offer those services to them. I wanted board permission, so to speak. The law indicates that we don't have to pay for that it would be on them, but I would suggest that we make our people available to do the sampling. If those entities so desire, we can keep some records as well to see what's going on there as water operators, and as the village controls in some fashion the water agency response to that. And quite possibly the rates that we are charged for our testing is those rates that we can afford the school districts and all the people that need to be testing. But we could have a registry, so to speak, of all those tests and all they're done. So if anyone is questioned or any questions come regarding that will be somewhat of a repository to make sure that that those were in compliance.
Are these annual tests or
Yes.
biannual?
No.
Or once a year?
The initial thing that I saw, which was a snippet, is a yearly test. Robert, it
just
falls
gonna
under your guys, so.
Just going to comment that we haven't seen the legislation. Typically, we will get a directive from the IEPA saying this is what you have to do now, and these are the records. Just so everyone knows, even though there may be private daycares, it is public information once we take the test. So we can post it if we so desire, and it becomes public information regardless of the plus or the minus that the proprietor feels about that. So we can't exclude it, not show it. It's public information.
Yeah, I mean, if you've done any research on lead in children, and they have a 6-year-old, but I don't think that's a limited or threshold that it only affects children up to 6, but certainly in the formative years. All the research that I've done points to paint being more of a carcinogen toward lead than water, because lead is everywhere, in the ground, in water, in pipes, and this and that and whatever. But I think as we're providing the water vis-a-vis pipes that belong both to municipal and homeowners, and the federal government has not come out with any standards which may put the state law, unless it's more restrictive, out of business as well. I think the goal of this community and what has been in our board is to try to assure the parents who send children to school that, as far as we're concerned, we have done everything, even before being asked, to monitor, prevent, and in some cases, at least identify and mitigate any potential problem and isolate it at any one of the school drinking fountains or areas that can be done. In talking to Vince and John, they have numbered every drinking fountain and drinking location in the public schools. Now, I'm not sure we've got to Divine Infant, Divine Providence, et cetera, but I think now with the legislation that gives us some kind of wherewithal that we can offer that service to them as well, because they're all our kids at the end of the day. So I'm asking for your concurrence. I'm also, as we go through the budget process, I mentioned a while back about, we take like 14 tests a year, and to me it's not enough, especially when 5 are on the same block. And I offered my cross theory of testing for locations in the community, and we'll probably go from 14 or 15 tests to about 60 in the way I have the scheme in my head. But I think looking at this issue and being proactive and being ahead of it, we're leaders in this, and we should be in this position for the safety of everybody in this community. So that's what I'm going to suggest. We will get a copy of the state law. I was trying to get as much as I could today before today's meeting. I wrote a little bit similar to this. It'll be in the February newsletter. But I'm glad that the state did go forward and at least put some type of monitoring for protection.
How much do these tests cost? Do we know?
Depends. If you would call Suburban Lab, it'd be like about $40. I think our testing is in the $20 range, but it may be with volume. Some of the tests that I saw an article about the city of Chicago, and they were doing tests for like $15. So I called the waterworks in the city of Chicago, and I said, hey, I need your guy. If you're doing it for 15 and it's costing me 20, I'm going with you, right? I mean, water operator takes a test, send it in. The city of Chicago is doing a different type of testing, is what I was told. They're doing a 3 test. So they're taking a sample, say, in the morning. They're waiting a little bit, taking another sample, waiting a little bit, and taking another sample. Because the theory is, say, for instance, you live on this side of the street and the water main is over here. So your line is coming from this water main across into your house, and now you're checking it at the farthest sink. So they're taking samples at different times, so they're going to get that sample. They might get the sample now that's where it enters your house, and then they might get the sample that's at the pipe. So they're doing a 3 test sample, which is $15 a sample, so it's 15, 15, and 15. So that's what I was told. So that's why the difference.
Yeah, and I know Suburban Labs does give you a break the more,
So,
the more you do.
if that's going to be the norm, and this isn't the first time I've heard that in the meetings that I've attended, from the University of Virginia. I was talking to one of the engineers and water testers, and he was talking about that months ago before I even learned about what the city of Chicago may be doing. So that may be what the new testing strategy will be. I don't know whether it'll be a 3-test or a 1-test or whatever. But I think if we look at the village and monitor every area, because it is the lead and copper rule. And just because you have copper doesn't mean you're out of the water. So, no pun intended. Because it all depends on what kind of flux was used to solder those copper connections together. And since '86, when some of the changes came in for lead to copper, some of those other changes about what kind of flux and things of that nature may not have changed. So just because you have copper does not mean that you're out of the woods, because there's other
I mean, even the
potential reasons.
solder, some of that solder is lead, unfortunately.
Well, that's what I'm saying. The solder is lead. Faucets that were put in back in the 80s had a lot more lead content, and it seems like some of the testing that I've read about were more faucet indicators. But I do know a house in town specifically that had new copper put in an addition, and they were in the 26 range parts per billion. So whoever put that in, whether it was homeowner or whomever, used something that maybe wasn't right, albeit it is copper. So it's the lead and copper rule. The EPA hasn't come out with any of their definitive changes that they're going to be mandating to the states or whatever, and it's going to filter down to us, of course. But I want to take a proactive stance to this, so at least we've jumped on it and have done everything we could without being told, albeit we will modify to accommodate the law whenever it comes here. But I think having a scheme of tests in the entire village in different quadrants and make sure that
Right.
all the areas are touched, that we've done our due diligence.
I don't know what the other board members think about this, but, I mean, I don't mind us doing all the tests or anything like that and everything, but maybe, like, charging if we're getting charged $20, charging the entities that we're doing the test for, similar, like the school district, park district, whoever, what we're getting charged.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Oh, okay.
That's exactly.
I just don't wanna take, I don't wanna take,
No,
the
no.
village take all the burden on the cost of all these tests.
No. They will be billed accordingly for 20 stations or 50 stations.
Yeah, whatever
Or
it may
whatever it
be.
is. And I would even think that, you're a park district employee, but I would offer that to the park district. I mean, there's a kid gonna drink out of that water fountain in the park district or wherever they're at, and to me, it makes no sense not to
Right.
add that to the mix. So, anyway, that's all I have for this evening. Executive session, do we need anything, guys and gals? If not, no. Is there a motion, a second, to adjourn the board meeting?
So moved.
Second.
Nick, and who was the second? Angelo? All those in favor of joining our board meeting say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition say no. We stand adjourned. We'll jump right.